On January 2nd, 2015, and as revised on July 14th, 2015, adequate notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act has been furnished by inclusion thereof in the annual schedule of meetings for 2015, which has been posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, filed with Borough Clerk, faxed to the Our Town, the Record, and the community news newspapers, and distributed to all persons, if any, requesting copies of same pursuant to said act. In case of an emergency or fire alarm, you must evacuate the building by using any of the exit doors in the room. They are immediately to my right, and the double doors at the rear of the room. Occupants must exit the building by using the staircase and not the elevator. This meeting is being recorded by both video and audio and may be rebroadcast.
Will everyone rise to salute the flag, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Fabre.
Here.
Council members Trevino,
Here.
DeGear,
Here.
Eisenberg,
Here.
Messer,
Here.
Lindenau,
Here.
Maroney,
Here.
Borough Attorney Ronald Dario,
Here.
Borough Administrator Roberta Stern, here, and Borough Clerk Jean Caligula's here.
All right. Gentlemen, I'd like a motion to go out of the order of regular business, if that's possible. Motion to go out.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have two things today. Obviously, we have Maywood students here. They're going to grill us with some questions. And we have three residents here that we're recognizing tonight. There are three Maywoodians here tonight that we are recognizing for their efforts on November 3rd. Let me start off by saying that all three of them are here basically under protest because they are uncomfortable accepting recognition for what John Dudek called just doing what Maywoodians do. On that day, Gina Kiley and Pete Scannell noticed three men. Mrs. Kiley yelled out to them that she was calling the police, and they got in their car and took off. Gina called the police desk, and Pete got in his car and followed behind them long enough to get the license plate, their location, and a description of the vehicle, which he then contacted Gina with so she could relay the information to the police. And while that was taking place, there was also a house fire that was thankfully knocked down by our fire department along with firefighters from neighboring towns. The damage was bad enough that the families couldn't remain in the house. One of the families had no place to stay, and that's where John Dudek stepped up and said that they could stay with him for as long as they needed. It didn't matter that he didn't know the family. All that mattered to John was that they were from Maywood, and they needed a hand. John, your dad would be proud. For the average person, maybe it's easy to just close your eyes and close your door or your blinds and ignore what's going on outside your home. But that's not what Maywoodians do. I am proud to live in a community that is filled with people just like Pete, Gina, and John. So with that, we have some proclamations I would like to give. Pete, Gina, and John, would you mind coming up?
You got this, girl. Got it, piece by piece. Thank you.
You know what, Brandon, just come up. You can be yelling over there. Come on up.
That's how I get my
This is called the Borough of Maywood Outstanding Citizen Award. In recognition and appreciation is awarded to Gina Kiley. On behalf of the governing body and all the citizens of the Borough of Maywood, thank you for your alertness and quick reactions in contacting the Maywood Police Department regarding the suspicious activity which resulted in the arrest of three parties for numerous thefts on November 3rd, 2015. We also have, this is a new thing that we're doing, well, new for this group of people. We're giving awards, also medals. This says Outstanding Citizen Award. This is what the team. On behalf of Peter Scannell, on behalf of the governing body and all the citizens of the Borough of Maywood, thank you for your alertness and quick reactions in contacting the Maywood Police Department regarding the suspicious activity which resulted in the arrest of 3 parties for numerous thefts on November 3rd, 2015. Yes, sir. You are in default. You are Pete Scannell right now. John Hududa, on behalf of the governing body and all the citizens of the Borough of Maywood, thank you for the kindness you showed by opening your doors to a neighboring family in need after a fire in their home left them without a place to stay. Your actions demonstrate the true meaning of being a Maywoodian.
Mayor, the council's going to come down with you.
Please, yes.
Students, I'm glad you guys are here to see that. Like I said, that is, and like John said, that is what Maywoodians do. And you guys are, many of you will be our police officers, our firefighters, our ambulance workers. Some of the people out, you might take the place of some of the people up here. So, just want to give you a heads up, that's a Maywoodian, and you guys will be Maywoodians too. You are Maywoodians, but you will grow up to be like that. It's a good example. Motion to go back into the regular order of business, please.
Yes, I make a motion.
Second.
All right. We are welcoming the Maywood students. Actually, no, I should have done it. So Greg actually agreed to stay in case the you want to go? You know what? We'll have you come, but you say you'll stay, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's
Thank you. Sure. This is the engineer's report. Greg?
Honorable Mayor and Council, Greg Poleniak. We issued an engineer's report dated the 20th for tonight's meeting. The first item on the list is the Economic Recovery Program. In speaking with the Borough Attorney, he's just received the signed agreement from Hangen, so the Borough can now proceed with the easement acquisition. Subsequently, our office will also be preparing the treatment works application, which is required to be approved by DEP. We would therefore expect that the project would be constructed in summer of next year.
Good news.
Mayor, if I might, with regard to that, the Borough Attorney's Office has advised me that both easements are in place. One day next week, when we take care of some financial obligation, we will have them in hand. So as early as next week, Greg, you can prepare that package.
Correct.
It's finally been settled.
Thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Borough Attorney.
Sure, continuing. The PSE&G improvement project on Central Avenue, work and conduit installation continues. They've installed approximately 100 of the 155 feet that needs to be installed at the intersection of Central and Esplanade. The work is ongoing. The next item on the list relates to the 69 KV project. There was a pre-construction meeting that actually was held this past year in June. There still needs to be some discussion. That project has been placed on halt by PSE&G. The Maywood Avenue Streetscape project, that project was awarded by the governing body at last mayor and council meeting to Bella Grande. Our office has forwarded contracts for signature by the contractor. Subsequent to that, those contracts being signed and then being signed by the borough, we would hold a pre-construction meeting. Construction will proceed in April of 2016. In addition, there's an agreement that PSE&G's forwarded to the borough and to our office, which we're working with Ms. Stern to complete. That is to lease the lights so that there is no maintenance required by the borough of Maywood. The next item on the list is the West Pleasant Avenue Traffic Circulation Project. There's a closeout resolution for consideration by the governing body tonight. The item thereafter is the Jersey Avenue Parkway 2015 roadway improvement project. That project's substantially complete, pending some punch list items that need to be addressed. We understand in speaking with the contractor that they'll be back in town in early December and will complete those items so that the project can be closed out prior to the end of the year. The final item on the list relates to the various sidewalk slab repair and replacement program. In November, we walked the municipality with Ms. Stern in our office. A pre-construction meeting was held thereafter. Then the contractor proceeded to complete those sidewalk slabs, which had been completed. They've also addressed topsoil and seeding, so the project has been completed other than some minor cleanup with respect to the project. The final item that isn't on the list relates to the stop sign studies for Palmer and Coolidge, East Magnolia and Concord, Elm and Park. Our office in mid-December will have reports available for consideration by the governing body, and pending those reports being submitted, the signs could be installed thereafter. That concludes our report. I'd be glad to address any questions or comments that the governing body had, though.
Greg, I have two things.
Sure.
In talking with Mr. Eisenberg earlier today and yesterday, a couple questions we both had. One of them is the money that's left over from the circles. That's being turned over, that's being returned back? Or is
Correct. It would be returned back, but it will also, some of that money will also be applied to the construction management fee. You'll be fully reimbursed for the construction management fee out of those DOT funds.
Is there anything that's left?
I believe it'll be approximately $10,000 that's left over.
Is there something that we can do with that, whether it's, Councilman Eisenberg was talking about signage?
We did broach that subject because I know Councilman Eisenberg had mentioned that approximately a meeting or two ago as it relates to signs. We've contacted DOT, and since that wasn't a part of the original scope, they wouldn't contribute to those signs. So that was the reason that we didn't proceed further with it.
Okay. All right. And the other question I had was with regard, I know we're doing a study right now on the stop signs. There's a bus stop on West 6th Street. It's right by the gas station, that area over there. Maybe there could be some discussion, maybe a study with regard to a crosswalk.
Sure.
I know there's a problem with the topography over there, and it's there's a line of sight issue, but that could maybe be alleviated with a sign going forward a little earlier up saying crosswalk, something like that.
Sure.
We can look into that, perhaps?
We'd be glad to look into that. We'd also be glad to discuss it with Bergen County as it relates to the location, and then bring back our results to the governing body.
Obviously, then we have to get the chief involved with that as well.
Correct.
See if we get his recommendations.
Sure.
And it's the gas station at Palmer, not Maywood Avenue.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have any questions of the engineer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wouldn't mind sticking around.
I'd be glad to.
Thanks. Okay. You guys are up. We are going to open the meeting to you guys. This is open to the public. Members of the public, we are opening the meeting to the public. Children can come up What do you want to do, Frank? You want to, we should probably do this first, and we'll do we'll do the adults after. What do you think? Sounds good. All right, let's welcome the Maywood Avenue students. Who do we got? Anyone want to come up and ask a question? Emma, you're up.
Can I ask for my own seat?
If you're loud enough.
All right.
You have to come up. First and last name.
Well, Mackenzie Shealy. Okay. Will there be any further expansions or repairs to the Maywood Public Library as of like the one that happened at the beginning of the year?
As for expansions, outwardly, no, but inside, the Hack Park has a Phase 3 going on, Hack Park Foundation. They're in Phase 3, and they're going to be working on the young adult section and the children's section, so it's going to be pretty amazing when they're done.
Okay. Thanks.
Nice.
Sorry.
Here we go. Go ahead. How you doing?
Do I have to state my name in order of business, or just...
You can say your name, Lance. Go ahead.
Lance Koenig. Could it be possible to get lights at Memorial Park again like there was in the past?
Do you mean the
By the soccer
portable?
field.
Portable ones?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The ones that are portable on the generator?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Woo! Yes.
You go, girl.
Hi, Isabella Molina, and I was wondering if Janela's Bakery is gonna come back. Like, is it gonna like open again or no?
Yes, absolutely. The owner is actually working with the planning board, going before the planning board right now to find out what he can do and what he can open.
Right.
It's going to be some form of a restaurant/bakery. But yes, they will be opening. Yes.
Emma Maroney. I was wondering why the baseball fields are covered with sand before the softball fields are.
Mr. Massa, would you like to take that?
Actually, the baseball fields aren't covered with sand, they're covered with clay usually.
Why are the baseball fields ready before the softball fields?
Are you talking about every day, or are you talking about in the spring?
In the spring.
In the spring. Well, they're usually worked on at the same time by the DPW. So they should both be ready at the same time in the spring.
Well, they weren't last year.
Well, I refer that question over to our DPW liaison for an answer. Thank you.
I would have to check to see why that didn't happen, but typically they get all the fields ready at the same time.
Okay, then.
No, you didn't pass it to your dad, so you're lucky. Who else do we have?
Hi, I'm Nikki Ashanovsky. So in class we learned that sales tax makes up most of a town's funds. I was wondering, where does the rest of the money for a town come from?
Property
tax.
Property tax,
Oh.
that's it.
That's okay, that's okay.
Who was your teacher?
Okay, property tax. Where does the rest of the money come from?
The majority of it is property tax.
Okay.
But we're about 95% residential and
Okay.
5% commercial.
Oh,
So
okay.
95% of the burden that comes of the tax burden is on the residents, and the other 5, thereabouts 5% is on the commercial. So the taxes that they pay is what allows us, you guys have school, and what allows us to run the town.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Come on up. Come on up.
I'm Agravile, and I was wondering, is there any way to reduce the amount of those who speed on Lennox Avenue?
Is there any way? There's a few ways, I'm sure. We can maybe put signs up there, the portable sign, with some speeding.
They
and
used to
just-
have the sign with the 25, like the mile where there was a bunch of kids on the street, but I guess nobody followed that.
Yeah.
We can make a note, tell the chief.
We can absolutely tell the chief, and maybe they can look at it, maybe we can put the sign on there so people see that when they're driving by, they see they're actually speeding and tend to slow down. But yeah, further, you can contact the chief. I appreciate that. Lennox. Thank you, Tom.
Hello, I'm Chelsea. Okay. Has there been any new ordinances this year?
Have we had any new ordinances this year? We're actually working on doing a lot of our ordinances right now. Mr. Messer and Mr. Eisenberg have a committee that they've been going through our ordinances to try and weed out some of the old ones that don't make sense. Mr. Eisenberg's got a bill. What's the one, the bicycle one? What was the one that you said? Oh, the hurdy-gurdy one.
But also, we did do the bond ordinance.
We did the bond ordinance, and
And then we put in some stop signs?
stop signs. And we're also doing, we got some recommendations coming from the planning board on things that they would like changed in the ordinances.
Okay.
So yes.
Thank you.
Who else?
Who's next?
I promised Mr. Jordan that you would be out here by 8:20.
Hi, I'm Terry Precor. What are the duties and responsibilities of freeholders?
Freeholders. Bird, can you take that one?
Well, the Bergen County has a freeholder form of government with a county executive. So it's two branches of the government. The county executive is like the president. He's in the executive branch of the government, and the freeholders are more or less in the legislative branch. So they review a lot of the resolutions that are passed as far as the roads in Bergen County and other things that deal with the everyday life of the citizens of Bergen County. Basically, their offices respond to residents' requests and requests for information. So they serve pretty much like this council does, and the executive is more like the mayor. So it's two branches of government, and they have to approve the budget of the county. It's presented by the county executive, but they have to approve it in order for it to go into full force and effect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? John, get up here. All right, you got the, what's my favorite color? Is that what you're asking? Good.
Where does their water come from?
What's your name?
John. Okay. Where does their water come from?
Where does our water come from?
I can answer that, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I can too. How about that?
So you asked the question, so I figured you were asking yourself.
Yeah, we have, our water comes from United Water, which is now, they changed the name to Suez, North America. And they get their they source their water from 4 reservoirs, 3 in Bergen County and 1 in Rockland County, New York.
And rain and snow.
That is very funny.
Your name, Mr. Newell?
Huh?
What's your name?
Alex? No.
Good. What's up?
I saw that the nail place next to Angelo's and the Bill's Gym closed. I was just wondering what's going in there.
Mr. Bills, he moved to Florida, and what's going in there right now, we don't know exactly, but we do know that it's purchased and it's under work. I'm assuming it's going to be another restaurant. I don't know.
It's very
for sure.
possible.
It's very possible it's another restaurant. I'm not sure about it. All right, you're welcome. Anyone else? Come on up.
No. Yeah.
Look, you're next. After this one, you know?
Come on, Brooke.
Hi, my name is Ramil. And I wanted to know why the parking in the street is not allowed after 2 a.m.
Well, we don't allow parking on the street. That's in our ordinances. We don't allow parking in the street. It's a tough one. Excuse me?
On the page?
You can give the legal version. I can give you the reason. Yes, give the legal version. I can give you the reason
Well,
why.
I was going to give them the reason, which is primarily a safety issue. It makes it easier for the cops to patrol.
We have very narrow roads, and for a fire truck to get down when there's cars parked on either side, some of the roads are very narrow, and that makes it difficult. It also makes it a lot easier at night when there's no cars on the road for the police to patrol. And if they do see a car, they go and approach, and they investigate why it's on there. And the other reason is basically a building department enforcement issue, where you would have a situation where people could have more than one car on the street, perhaps 2. You might run into a situation where people are renting out their basement illegally, and we're trying to avoid that because you don't get taxes, and you might get children in school, and you're paying for that. So. But anyway, that's a long.
We had snowstorms and there's cars parked in the street and they can't plow, people are sleeping and then you have a disaster.
Yeah. And again, we have very narrow roads in Maywood, so that would run, you'd run into that, you'd run into traffic going around. You don't want that. Thank you for your question, I appreciate it. Russ. Brooke. Come on, Brooke.
Was there any particular reason for the fencing of Memorial Park?
Which fencing?
The,
Part of the playground.
Oh, by the playground.
Yeah.
We got several requests, or some concerns from some of the parents that children might run, because it's a straight shot directly to Coolidge over there. So it's basically the fencing some of the younger children. What else we got?
I'm Anthony Panacidi, and I was wondering how often the athletic fields are maintained.
Actually,
that's just the Linden House Department.
As long as the MYAA or the girls softball provides a schedule of their games, the DPW will then keep the fields ready for games. So that's basically how it works. They're out there all the time keeping them cut and everything and groomed, but if they get schedules from the leagues, which they typically do, I know from the MYAA, then they maintain them ready for games.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Messer, I knew he was going to pass the buck, that's why I just passed it to you initially, but
He delivered it better than I could.
I know, like, you guys have handed in like 5 questions each, so.
Okay,
you guys
Juliana.
have at least one question.
Juliana!
Come on.
Santi, let's go.
I don't have any questions. My questions have been answered, actually.
Okay.
I'm not lying. God. I don't have any questions.
My name is Cosette Leosi, and I wanted to know if we could have a public theater in Maywood.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I wanted to know if we could have a public theater in Maywood.
A public leader?
Theater.
I'm sorry, I apologize. We're talking about a movie theater, an amphitheater?
Like a performing arts theater.
Ooh,
For
wow.
musicals or something.
Like an outdoor one, is that what you're thinking?
Either that or you could do something in the
That would be great.
rec center.
That's very interesting. Rec center, look at that.
To find a place.
Find a place.
That's the problem, finding a place.
Just to find a place. I mean, that was a great idea.
That could be something that could be brought up at the next rec advisory meeting.
Sure. When is that?
That would be on the 30th.
All right. Well, you want to come on the 30th? When is the...
I need to.
We have the rec director right back there, and maybe you can come to the next meeting, you want to bring your parents, and bring that up. It's...
November 30th at 6:30 up on the 3rd floor.
In this building. Very good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because the
Guys?
theater was a big hit this year.
Huh?
The theater program must have been a big hit
It was,
this
it
year.
was. My daughter did. It was wonderful. Wonderful.
Rebecca O'Neill. Why did, if you want to have a garage sale, why would you need a permit for a garage sale?
I'm going to throw that to our rec director.
Why do you need a permit to have a garage
Why do you need
sale?
permits to have a garage sale?
So it's the borough ordinance, you only have to have 2 a year. It's because people will take advantage and do garage sales every weekend and make a business of living out of running garage sales, and it just doesn't look nice. People that don't live here drive through town, and every weekend there's garage sales going on.
But the bottom line
Actually,
is,
you have to have 3. 2 for the regular borough, and then
and they
1
can do townwide.
for the townwide.
Yes. And Mrs. Shealy runs that perfectly for the town. She's a guardian for the town.
And then isn't it true then, when they get the permit, is it advertised?
The town one, I pay for the borough pays for the advertising in the record, we take a big ad, and I have the list here. We get a lot of participation on that, and it's very common.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Next. What do we got? Ms. Consent, you got it? You didn't think of another one here?
You sat in the front row. Sorry.
Do I have
I do have one. Okay. Alright. I'm Juliana Conoscenti, and I was wondering, because a lot of the kids in our town, they play lacrosse,
Yeah.
and but they have to play in Saddlebrook, and they all wanted one in Maywood.
So we want our own lacrosse program.
Yeah.
Well,
Rec director.
rec director, actually, thanks to Mrs. Shealy, we actually have
Is it the lacrosse question?
yes, lacrosse club.
We don't have the field space.
I guess that's it. Thanks to Mrs. Shealy, we actually have a...
Baseball, it's the same season, it's the spring, so we don't have enough field space to host our own.
Lisa, why don't you come on up here, because I'm going to have to throw everything to you. Just come on up.
You can take my seat.
Joanne, the fact that we actually have a lacrosse program to begin with at all is thanks to Mrs. Shealy. Next. Okay, there we go. No, repeats.
I'm still Nikki Ashenovsky. I'm going to try this again. Okay, so a lot of our friends who come into town, they always comment on how nice it is that West Pleasant's decorated all the time for the holidays. Who's in charge of decorating West Pleasant?
Well, that's a good question. The overall purchasing and getting the equipment and the things on there, on the decorations, is Mrs. Stern, our administrator. But the person, and in conjunction with the DPW, but the person who does the majority, the lion's share of it, is Mr. Billy Jelinski. And he does an unbelievable job. I try and get his picture in the paper as much as possible. You'll see him. He puts the lights up. He works with Roberta. He works with the DPW. And it's his passion. So anytime if you do see him, he'll be putting them up. He'll be there tomorrow. If you're around, maybe give him a thanks. Thank you.
And he does that all on his own?
On his own.
Volunteer.
Completely volunteer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. Why does Uncle Luigi's close during the winter?
It's a good question. I imagine most people don't like ice cream in the winter.
I do.
You do?
I do.
All right.
You have to ask them, that's a business choice.
It's not part of his business plan.
They have a business model, and in the East Coast, I guess that's what they do in the East Coast, they close down at a certain time. I know in Staten Island they have Ralph's Ices, it's like famous ice, and they close down. They actually close down a lot earlier, so I guess it's a business model.
All right, thanks.
Question? What else? Anybody else?
Is there any town events for the holiday season?
Sorry, your name?
Daniel Massar.
Are there any town events for the holiday season?
Yes.
I'm going to pass that to our borough administrator.
Well, this Friday is the one and only tree lighting at the Padavano Christmas Tree Island, and we will be having our Charlie Brown movie. Santa will be arriving at 6 p.m. for those children who still like to sit on Santa's lap. And we do have a horse-drawn carriage that will be going up and down Pleasant Avenue, along with a new group of carolers who will be entertaining. And there's some surprise guests that I can't tell you about because they will be a surprise. But we do have hot pretzels this year. So that'll be a treat. Hot salted pretzels with all the condiments that you could enjoy. And I think that's about it that night.
Sarah will be coming on Engine 19. We'll be arriving at Engine 19's job this year to bring them.
And the Maywood Historical Society has a bus tour of the lights. It happens on December 27th.
Oh, that's right.
At 4:30 and 6 p.m. So you can get on a bus and drive around town and see.
It's a contest, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a contest, Councilman, right?
There's also the tent.
Yep. Saturday on Christmas Eve.
Oh, and the carolers on every Friday after this Friday. There will be carolers from the school, Memorial School, Maywood School, and the Girl Scouts. We're also doing a food drive, I believe, on the night that they're there.
Dan, you can just keep going. Keep you up here for a while.
Excellent question, young man.
Anyone else?
What?
All right. That's it? That's it for the questions?
Yeah, I saw some.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so, yeah, hi. I'm Emily Tiskakis, and What is the biggest worry of the mayor and council? Like, what's the biggest worry that they have?
The biggest worry. Our biggest concern, I would imagine, besides everybody's safety of the children, the residents, is basically keeping Maywood as affordable as possible to live in. That's, we are the stewards, as former Mayor Eustace used to say, we are the stewards of your dollar, of your tax dollar. So we need to spend it correctly and make sure that you're not overtaxed. That's one of our biggest concerns.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? All right. Well, I got, you tell Mr. Jordan that I got you guys out 10 minutes early. Well, actually 13 minutes early. I want to say thank you on behalf of the Mayor and Council for you guys coming here with your questions. You did a great job. Former Mayor Padavano used to say this was his favorite and his least favorite moment because you guys actually asked questions that we're not prepared for. It's grilling. You ask some serious questions. And the best part of it is that we get to see the future coming up here and getting involved. And we really appreciate that. We absolutely do. So give yourself a round of applause. All right, with that, would any member of the public wish to come on up? The adults, the big kids.
How you doing? My name is Bob Schenkel. I reside at 89 Parkway. And first off, I'd like to say thank you very much for the milling and repaving of Parkway and the other streets and the surrounding areas of the borough. I think it's really a tremendous improvement. I know my front end will thank myself going forward. But the reason why I'm here tonight is during the milling of Parkway, my apron had been damaged by the milling machine. And as a proactive individual, I actually took a video of my apron and sidewalk because a year ago I had to have it replaced because a borough tree had erupted both the sidewalk and the apron, to which it was such a hazard that I had to replace it. And I was doing driveway work as well, so I said I'll do it all at the same time. At this point in time, I just kind of find it ironic that nothing has been done. I've had the engineer out, I've had the contractor look at, I've been up to the borough about this, and I reported it, and all I want to know is my apron going to be replaced? Because it's damaged, it was pristine, I now have an 8-inch gash that I took pictures of that night when I came home, and I was shocked to see it. So I'm just wondering, there's a lot of trip hazard sidewalks along Parkway that have been ignored because those residents didn't complain and other residents have about getting their sidewalks done. And I was told numerous times by individuals in this office, in this room, that it is the homeowner's responsibility to care and maintain for their sidewalks, regardless of whether a borough tree has damaged it. So I'm just kind of at a loss now that, number one, I'd like to know when my apron's going to be repaired, and number two, I'd like an explanation of the logic behind how one resident gets it, another resident doesn't get it.
Just, I don't mean to interrupt.
Sure.
I'll get an answer for you with just about the apron, and then I'll answer your other question as well.
I'd be glad to.
This is the engineer. Borough engineer.
We've been in contact, and as you mentioned, our office has inspected the location. This is one of the punch list items that's on the list.
Okay.
In December, this will be addressed by the contractor, so you should feel confident that this will occur and be addressed.
And the other...
Is there a date?
I don't have a date, but it will be during December, correct.
Okay.
And the answer to your question is yes, it's in our ordinances where the homeowner is responsible for the sidewalks, even if it is a borough tree. But what we've done this year is we've instituted a program where we are taking care of some of the worst conditions in town that have a borough tree that has caused the sidewalk slab to be popped up. So we are addressing that, and going forward, providing there is funds, we will do that every year going forward.
Well, isn't that counterproductive, though, to tell a resident that they're responsible and then certain people get it and other people don't get
I don't
it.
think it's the people that are getting it, it's the condition.
Well, I would like to approach some of the things that are being done. I mean, up the street from me, I don't think the trip hazards are that bad. Right across the street from me, there's a resident that has a 4-inch gap. It's not being done.
Well, again, Well, listen, we are not, you guys are our eyes and ears many times, so if there is a situation just like now, we would not have known about the gash in your
That's why I
unless
came.
you told us. So, obviously you told the engineer.
Well, I
knew about
complained
it,
to a
but-
couple of people.
Yeah, but again, it's the residents many times, the homeowners, that's the eyes and ears of the borough, and they let us know. If they don't let us know, many times we don't find out about it. What we are doing, though, is we are driving around as much as we can. If the members of the DPW see something, if one of us sees something, if Roberta, the administrator, sees something, we try to get it on the list. We have a list. We have many sidewalks in town. We have many trees that might have caused the damage, and we don't know, but we are trying to fix it, and we're addressing it.
Well, it just seems to me that if we put these trees on less than a 4-inch plot of ground and you put a concrete barrier all around it, you're going to have a problem.
Well, that's another issue.
And I don't think that it's right that a homeowner who has very little say about the tree is then penalized in some cases. I mean, I've laid out $2,700. I replaced all of my sidewalk because I had kids running up and down, and I had a trip hazard, which I only did
Sorry to interrupt you, but we have a 5-minute...
this past October, and I paid for it, and now I'm hearing others are getting it for free.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your input. Anyone else? Seeing no one else, close the meeting to the public. All right. Here's the minutes for the October. You guys want to head out? We'll take a little break and head out. But if you guys want to stay, that's fine too. You probably have 7 more minutes before Mr. Jordan says you turn into pumpkin. So if you guys want to hang out just a little bit longer. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. At least it starts putting you on the spot there. You did great, though.
Okay, it's fine.
All right, we have the October 13th, 2015 work session minutes and the October 27th, 2015 council meeting minutes. Is there a motion for the approval?
Yes, motion to approve.
Second. Roll call?
Trevino?
Yes.
DeHere?
Yes to October 27th, abstain from October 13th, I wasn't there.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
All right, we have presentation of bills and claims and request for public comment. Is there any comment on the bill list? Seeing none, the clerk has presented the bill resolution. Is there a motion for the approval?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Trevino?
Yes.
DeHere?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
The correspondence and report of the borough clerk.
I do not have a report. I just would like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Report of the borough administrator.
Mayor, I think most of what I had to say I did before regarding our events on Friday night, starting at 5:30 with the tree lighting at Panavano Christmas Island, and 5:45 when the horse-drawn carriage will start working on Pleasant Ave, and Santa Claus is supposed to arrive at the Community Bank parking lot, Christmas Central in Maywood at about 6 o'clock, as well as all the other activities. And just a little follow-up, now that the easements have been perfected with the two property owners, Greg will start the process, and hopefully next spring we will start getting, we do have a report, we've had a joint report in the past from Paramus and their engineer and our engineer, so a lot of the preliminary work has been done. Now it's just a matter of going out to bid to get the work done. As Greg said, the roadway project, both the grant and the part of it that's part of the bond, has been completed to everyone's satisfaction, and there are a few items that have to be taken care of on the punch list, some of which are sidewalks on Parkway, as well as some other things that are part of the punch list. And I do have a couple of things for closed session. And other than that, I'd just like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving to enjoy with your families.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very question. One of the homeowners had said to me that there's a bunch of lights around Pleasant Avenue.
There were a bunch of lights out. They're back on. I just drove there tonight, and I sent a message when I got back to PSE&G. There's still 5 that I noticed.
I thought it was 3. It's 5?
Well, I noticed there's one, the last one on the island by Lincoln, the one opposite Nicky's, the one opposite Mario's, and then down by TD Bank on the east side, one of the doubles was out, and there was another double out, but I didn't take notice. So I just, hopefully you'll get those few done, but it may not be. If not by Friday, they'll be done in the next week or so, but there were 22 out because there was a lack of reporting. Hopefully that won't happen again, because there's some of us who aren't on the street when it gets dark, even though it gets dark pretty early. And it should be the responsibility of one public safety group to make sure that those lights are noted so that public service can be advised.
Mr. Messer and I spoke with the police department and asked them to...
Yeah, because that was, normally I see a few of them and I'll report them. The police have a format that needs to be followed by public service as far as sending this information in online. It's relatively new. It came into play this past year. We used to fax in the information. Now it's online. But I usually follow up with my connection in the lighting division, and he's a local person, so he always takes care of us pretty nicely. So right now...
Public service is responsible.
Yes. Again, we lease them from them. Which is why we have this project on the, which you'll see in the upcoming meeting from Public Service for the new lights that are going to be part of the streetscape down on the north side of Maywood Ave, north of the tracks.
Thank you, Brian. Any other questions for the administrator? Before the borough return.
Sorry, nothing other than to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Committee reports, Mr. Giovino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the library, to follow up on what you answered the question from one of the students. We've been meeting with architects to interview them to pick an architect that will give us some, get some plans on improving the young adult section at the library. So that we'll be moving forward. And other than that, I'd just like to thank all the students that were here, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I might, I just reminded myself about one other thing. The Borough Hall will be closed tomorrow at 1 o'clock. The offices in the Borough Hall on the 3rd floor will be closed. And just so people remember, the Borough Hall is also closed on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, as well as the DPW being off on that day. But there will be garbage collection.
Thank you. Mr. DeHare.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. From the building department, for the month of November to date, we've collected $8,528 in permit fees. From the planning board, last Thursday, the 19th, we had a meeting which you attended with me. And just to give everybody an update regarding the affordable housing compliance in the borough of Maywood, additional paperwork needed to be submitted, and that was done by our borough planner along with legal counsel on behalf of the borough of Maywood. And per current guidelines that they justify how much affordable housing you have to have, Maywood is in compliance and actually has exceeded the requirements for affordable housing units in town. They did notify us that the guidelines are subject to change, but unless they're super duper drastic, we should still be within the requirements. So the borough planner and the legal counsel we've hired is doing a very good job. The Supreme Court is very happy with what we are doing as a borough. We're very responsive. So right now it's a very positive report that was given to the planning board. That was the majority of the meeting, majority focus of the meeting. As everyone else said, I would too like to, I appreciate the students stopping by and wish everybody a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one quick question. I know we talked about at the planning board having a joint meeting with
Yes.
the member, and I know you looked into it.
I looked into it, and they're trying to figure out their schedule, get back to us the dates.
Okay, that's good.
We've had conversations back and forth. I told them the dates that the planning board has, the dates the council had, and also said, quite honestly, we would arrange a special meeting if necessary. And they were very open to that, and they just came back to me and said, are your meetings normally days or nights? And I said, normally the nights, which would really be best for us, because everybody's working, fortunately. So it is, I expect to have an answer in the next few days.
And that's just so you know, it's the a joint meeting with the planning board and the Army Corps of Engineers, just to speak on.
Yes, they're going to update the planning board and the mayor and council as to a couple of things. The railroad activity, which is how I first got involved with it, the railroad activity on West Central, because some of the homeowners there were concerned about moving railroad cars at 2 in the morning. It was quite disturbing. And in addition to that, they're going to update us on the work in the Sears area, where Sears is now, the property that's owned by Kin, as to that progress, as well as the progress at the remediation site up there. So they're going to give us a big update, because it has a great effect on what the planning board is working very hard on. That's a very large tract of, the last remaining tract of property really in town, except for the end of West Pleasant. And it's very important, so we need to know what that schedule is, so we know how to plan appropriately. So we're trying to get together with everybody, so we're all on the same page, and we can plan properly. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you for your efforts, I appreciate it.
Sure.
Mr. Eisenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 weeks ago, I worked with a group out of Hackensack on their Clean the Parks Day, and we cleaned all the trails in Borg's Woods, freed them of debris, and opened up some of the trails where growth had blocked the path from Maywood. You can now walk from all the streets into Borg's Woods. Some of the friends of the park are interested in having a footbridge placed to Maywood, so that Maywood residents could get into the park. They have some maps and a number of streets, and I've encouraged him to come into one of the meetings and present it to the council.
They did that in 2011. I still have the design from the bridge. I don't know if they wanted to do it on was it either Washington or Lafayette? I don't remember which one, but they drew up a bridge.
Yeah, I think Woodland is the one that that they like the most, but it could be any one of them. But we're sitting on a treasure there. There are so many towns that have nature preserves, and while the bulk of the woods is in Hackensack, and only a little bit of it falls in Maywood, it opens an opportunity for our town to have just something really great for the town, and I think we should pursue that. Mr. Messer and I met this evening, went over a bunch of ordinances. We have one more batch to do, and then we'll be through all of the ordinances, and sometime before the end of the year I'll present a report with everything with respect to that. Just want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving, and that's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Eisenberg. Mr. Messer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had a municipal alliance meeting yesterday, representatives from the borough, from the county, from the schools, myself, and from the library. Very exciting. We're looking at the budget process for the municipal alliance, how funds can be allocated for certain things. We have a lot of ideas, a lot of programs that we're going to be working on moving forward. There's a Recreation Department Advisory Board meeting on the 30th, and after that, we're going to have another municipal alliance meeting. We're going to be focusing a lot of programs on not only the younger and the middle school children, but there's also components for seniors. There's a component for parents, for drug and alcohol resistance education, and also things like stigma-free we'll be addressing as well. So look for some things coming with that in the near future. For the police department, the new CAD system is in place, the new carpeting is in place, the new furniture is in place. Downstairs is really fully functional now, and it's very impressive. The new backup radios that we had approved at the last meeting are in place and running, so I feel a little better about that. We have, in case something did happen, we now have the backups up and running. I want to thank Roberta for coming up with a very quick and cost-effective solution to the cameras being an issue here at 15 Park. That's up and running and on the screens and being recorded, and everything's good there, so thank you. The 2 new patrol cars are out on the street. They're being utilized. There's still a little bit of paint and a little bit of equipment that needs to be put in them, but they are being utilized. About a week ago, the council on local mandates issued their formal enjoyment, is the word, of the dashboard camera mandate. So that has been officially been put on hold until that's finally resolved. So that timing couldn't have been better. So everything's going well there. Talking a little bit, again, congratulations to Peter and to John and to Gina, but you had mentioned, Mr. Mayor, that they were very, under protest, they came to the meeting to be recognized for their actions, and I think it's very important that we stress to the citizens of Maywood that the citizens of Maywood are the eyes and the ears of not only the borough, but especially the police department. You've heard the phrase used these days, especially when it comes to what's going on in the world, that if you see something, say something. Well, it's very important in order to maintain the quality of life that we have here in Maywood that our citizens participate in the policing of our community by letting the police know when something seems to be out of place and something needs their attention. So not only should Gina and Peter be congratulated for their efforts, but it's that having them here and recognizing them for that is a lesson that we need to make sure it's heard by the citizens of Maywood by saying, please do not hesitate, call about anything you think is out of the norm. There's no shame in that. You are helping keep Maywood the nice, safe community that it is. And last but not least, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Linda now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple quick little DPW things. The cameras are also functional down at the DPW, and we've had illegal dumping issues there in the past, so hopefully this will help us resolve anything in the future. The tree truck, there's an issue with the boom, and we're having that looked at to find out.
I'd like to talk about that in closed session a little bit.
Okay. What we're going to be doing with that moving forward. The guys have been getting Pleasant Avenue ready for Santa, and that's about it, except for I would like to remind everybody to please, it gets dark early, and there are people out running in the street or walking home from work, and I almost got hit today, running down Parkway. Gentleman rolled through the stop sign and swore to me he stopped, but I had my vest on, my reflective vest on, and he was moving right through that stop sign. So please be careful of the citizens walking in the dark while you're driving.
Walking the dogs.
Or walking dogs, too. Yeah. And I wish everybody happy Thanksgiving. That is all.
Thank you, Mr. Linda. Council President Aroni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just one announcement. The Maywood Historical Committee is going to be announcing 9 initial Maywood inductees to the new Maywood Hall of Fame. A formal announcement will go out in the papers the week of December the 7th, but save the date of January 17th at 2 p.m. in the rec center is when it's going to be happening. Other than that, healthy and happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and I hope everyone enjoys their families.
Thank you, Mr. Aroni. Very briefly, the Recreation Center building will be closed for maintenance on Thursday, December 3rd, and then again on Monday, December 28th through Friday, January 1st. So we will get that information out. Patty, if you could get that in the out-of-town, appreciate it, and then we'll get it.
Mayor, was the issue addressed with the keys? I wasn't handling that. Those cabinets need to be unlocked.
Oh, I'll deal with that with Mr. Jelinski
And the other president,
yeah,
thank you.
Let me write that down right now, please. Need to be unlocked, that's right. Okay. I have a joint historical committee and / library issue. Some of if anyone doesn't know, there's a historical committee room in the basement of the library. It's a back room. Not a lot of people do know that, but it houses many of our treasures, our borough treasures that are here for ages. That's where it's kept. It's like our museum. And there's going to be some very exciting news coming down the pike with regard to getting some of those things in this building. So going forward, I'll keep everybody posted, but in the meantime, just look out for that. And I want to wish everybody a healthy and happy Thanksgiving, and just be with your families, be grateful for what we have, and thankful for what we have, because we have a wonderful town. Wonderful town, and we're raising our families in a wonderful town. So, with that, let's move on. Oh, and I do have something for closed also. No resignations, appointments. Approval of the following. Patrick Gilday as a full-time telecommunicator for the Maywood Police Department at an annual salary of $32,000, effective November 24th, 2015. Is there a motion for the appointment?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Juliana?
Yes.
Tahir?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroney?
Yes.
Council approval of the following. Approval for the 2016 towing license from All Points Towing, Belfies Towing, Rochelle Park Auto Body, and Rochelle Park Towing. Number 2, from the Maywood Fire Department, request to take Truck 17, Rescue 23, and the Aaron Fox to Wallington Holiday Parade on 11/28/2015. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Juliana?
Yes.
Tahir?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroney?
Yes.
Resolutions by title.
Resolution 15015, resolution authorizing the final closeout of the West Pleasant Avenue traffic control project.
Is there a motion for the adoption?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Juliana?
Yes.
Tahir?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroney? Maroney?
Maroney?
Yes, sorry.
What's up, Lord? Sorry, but let me just say thank you. We tried, but we tried with the circles. We have no introduction to the ordinances. Any new business, gentlemen? Any old business? Is there any miscellaneous business? We do have a closed session, and it's for the purpose of...
Some personnel and contract items.
Sounds good.
Move to close?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Be resolved by the Mayor and Council of Borough Maywood, pursuant to the provisions of the Open Meeting Act, Mayor and Council in closed session to discuss the following subject matters: personnel and contract negotiations. Be further resolved as precisely to determine this time the discussion conducted in said closed session can be disclosed to the public upon taking final action thereon, provided disclosure should not violate the attorney-client privilege or constitute undue invasion of privacy. Be further resolved, the Mayor and Council of Borough Maywood do not envision they will return to open session at this meeting, but reserve the right to do so.
Please tell the children they did a great job.
It was great.
Every year you guys do a great job. We're on program.